Now we're going to cover the part of the polygroups, in particular these two possibilities that are presented with the attributes, which are the generate polygroups and the paint polygroups. Usually when you are working with meshes that has multiple sides, you want to treat every side in a different way. Let's say that you want to paint every side with a different material or with a different color, a different texture. This is achieved thanks for the defining what are the polygroups, the different sides that are going to be part of this mesh that we want to treat in a different way. So when you select an object like this one, like this mesh that we have here, you can just click here and you will see that at the same moment that we clicked over the generate polygroups, we have this object with different colors for the different sides of the same object. This is the generation of the polygroup, and even the side on the bottom has a different color. And you will see this in the recreation of the scene, which is part of this course that we are presenting to you. But for the moment, let's say that I want to accept this. And right now I have a different sides and different colors for this particular mesh. Even if we create a new mesh, let's say that I want to create a cylinder. And let's place the cylinder here and accept. And now I want to work with the same thing, with the attributes. And in the attributes, I'm going to say generate polygroups. This is a more dramatic example where you can see that every side of this cylinder has different colors. And when you accept this, you are creating these polygroups that then you can use to change different things in the design of this object. Let me take another more simple example like this one, like this cube. Let's create for this cube again, let's generate the polygroups. You can see we are rotating and there are different colors. I'm going to accept this. In fact, I'm going to move the cube a little bit to the top so we can see it from the bottom as well. Move it to this side and then a bit more to the top. So in this case, we have an object that already has a polygroup auto-generated for every side. But it could be in an occasion where you want to define a particular section of the object that you want to change. In that case, then you're going to use the option of painting polygroups. Painting polygroups will allow you to, with clicking with the mouse, to select a specific sections of the object that you want to group, which is basically, let's say that I want these two faces to be rendered or to be applied the same texture or the same material. Then this is how I'm going to handle. Instead of allowing the system to create automatically the polygroup for me, this is how I set every section that I want. If I want to unselect something, I just have to keep the shift click down and click again, and I'm going to unselect the sections that I want. Now, let's talk about the settings that you have when you are painting the polygroups. I have to tell you that I don't use many of them, to be honest. What I do is I'm always go to the painting, and basically the first and most important of all is the brush size. Using this, you can define how big you want the brush to be. And this is important because sometimes if the brush is too big, then without wanting it, you can interfere with the side of the object that you don't want to paint. And this is something to keep in mind. So you can control the brush size of the paint this way. An important thing to mention about the brush size is that sometimes the brush gets stuck in one specific size. If that's the case, you just have to save your project, close it and reopen, and everything will be working perfectly. So don't worry about that.